I got 100, told them all to shut up, and then I couldn't do it off the square after.
I'll tell you what though, Mark Wood gets my juices flowing.
I once had a pet pig.
Cherrington.
I wasn't expecting that question.
That came from the Yorkshire wool.
Hello and welcome to Under the Lid, the Pro Cricket Show with me, Jack Brooks.
And me, Katherine Sciver-Brunt. Hello.
Hello, mate. How are you?
Hello. Well, we've had the England men's T20 World Cup kick-off, haven't we? And it's been good to watch so far. I've actually had a bit of fun watching it. There's been some outrageous things happen thus far. And we have got a very special guest with us tonight, should I say, all the way from the West Indies as well. So straight out the England camp, we shall be seeing someone very special.
Yeah, he is very special. Obviously one of the world's best batters at the minute. Also a good friend of mine, former teammate. But just before we get into that, I've asked the producers to get my own back a little bit on you after you muled me out of sight a couple of weeks ago when you were on your own and you were feeling brave.
Can't wait. Everybody turn off the podcast immediately.
Do you know your worst international bowling figures were none for 69?
Absolutely not.
Against the Aussies in April, a couple of years ago. And you also had your worst figures against Australia in T20 with none for 47 in February 2020. The Aussies and you, I thought you had a good record against them.
To be fair, both of them are pretty shameful. You know, Game of Thrones where you walk down the street and they ring a bell and they go, shame. That's one of them moments. But I mean, 2 bad days in 19 years of international cricket is not too bad, to be fair.
I was going to say,
I can't recall anything else being.
I was scraping the barrel, and that's the worst I could find, which still is probably nowhere near as bad. I
didn't reach a ton then. That's not bad. That could have been worse.
The Aussies were all right, and your best mate, Alicia Healy, she probably took you down, didn't she? So.
Yeah, and then I gave her a pair. Don't worry. We're not naming and shaming though, guys. No more shame.
Moving on. How's your week been?
Oh yes, let's swiftly move on. Well, my week has been actually fairly interesting. As you always like to say, never a dull moment. Vitality happened to just pop round on the Tuesday to refilm a day in the life of Nat Sciver-Brunt, or an athlete, if you like. Obviously, she has a bit of a what do you call it? Collaboration, something along those lines with Vitality, which is great because she loves working with them. And I ended up featuring quite heavily in the day's filming, and this wasn't planned.
You just bombing it in the background, digging a hole.
I would have done it for 10, 20 quid. You know, I'm quite cheap me. But no, just for I did get a free coffee out of it actually, because there was in the day of a life of anyone, there's generally a coffee, and so that happened for free, so that was nice. I've also had some family around, my sister with her 2 kids, and my brother-in-law. He came round and we built an enormous log store. So I live in the middle of the woods, and I've got this big ass space in the back, and there was this makeshift scaffoldy, weird old feral thing that was housing logs, and I just wanted a really cool mint one. So he helped me build one, and I'm actually pretty impressed with myself. I might put some pictures out there before and after, because everybody loves a before and after.
I need to see this. I'm a lumberjack.
I did all the easy work, like the drilling and a bit of cutting, but I left the digging to him. I'm watching me back these days.
Yeah, man job. Digging's a man job, isn't it? Blue job.
Anyway, how have you been going on? You must surely have been celebrating all week.
Yeah, well, I kept it quiet on the podcast last Monday that it was actually my 40th the next day. I wasn't too keen to throw it around, to be honest with you. But I'm 40. I know you're going to be there next year. Is it next year?
But you look well, though. You don't look a day over 26. So, you're allowed to say these things if you look well.
I've tried to hold it well. I think now having a baby, I've aged quite quickly in the last year with lack of sleep. And now I'm not an athlete anymore. I'm probably going to let my body go a little bit. But yeah, I'm now 40. I was working for Surrey Twos. I did a Twos game down at New Malden, which we won against Sussex. So that kept me busy during the day. And I got back that night, and my partner Danny had put on a little spread, and I'd taken a cake in to the boys during the day. Colin the Caterpillar, everyone's favourite.
Isn't that just like, I reckon 90% of birthdays gets that.
Other brands are available. Other animals are available. So yeah, it was a nice time. A few presents, and yeah, it went well. Not the usual sort of absolute lash up that I would have done when I was younger. And then I did have a bit of a lash up later in the week because I had my first MCC game. I'm becoming a member this winter, and it was.
Is this like a Legends thing?
No, it's just MCC membership. But I got asked to go on a trip to Cork down in Munster in Ireland. So we had an overnight job. He flew on Thursday morning, got up at 5 a.m. for a 9 o'clock flight, landed in Cork at 10:30 in the morning, straight to the hotel to be greeted by my teammates, who included, well, I actually flew with James Hildreth, one of my former teammates at Somerset, but Graham Swan was there. Ollie Soames used to play for Hampshire for a couple of seasons. There was a few other guys who were sort of decent cricketers as well, but just a good group of lads. And we played against the local side, and I think it was their 160th anniversary.
Oh, nice.
And then finished the game, got on it.
Well, good to know you had a good birthday week. I think at 40 you should have a week. I'm already planning mine.
But remember, you can send in any feedback for us or questions by using the hashtag #underthelid or emailing us at hello@underthelid.co.uk. And as always, this podcast is brought to you in partnership with the PCA and the Cricketer, whose outstanding coverage of domestic cricket online has been recognised for 6 years in a row at the ECB Domestic Journalism Awards. Right. What do we know about our guest, other than the fact he is one of the rising stars in international cricket? He's English. He's from Yorkshire. Yorkshire's pretty good at producing cricketers, isn't it? Obviously, case in point with you.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not from Yorkshire, but I did play for them. But they produced you. Yorkshire's produced you, isn't it? And
they came from the Yorkshire womb.
Barnsley. That's the womb of Yorkshire, is it? Barnsley.
I mean, yeah, he's pretty good, isn't he? He's cream of the crop of Yorkshire, which hence then was shipped off to the England squad, as they all do. And he is joining us all the way from Barbados, I believe. Is that correct? Is that where they are currently?
Yeah, I believe so.
I hope I don't get this wrong. And as you say, he's born and bred in Yorkshire. And he would like to say he's from Ilkley, I believe, not the other place that I will not mention. And at the tender age of 25, he's already the owner of a silly amount of records and clearly adored by his fellows players. He was voted the Cinch PCA Men's Young Player of the Year in 21 and 22, then won the grown-up men's. I love how it's grown-up men's.
He's just cleared the board.
Grown-up men's.
Yeah.
Grown-up men's then, to make it just a little bit harder. In 23, but it's not actually all been plain sailing, has it?
No, as it is in a top international career, you're going to have ups and downs, aren't you? It'd be good to get under the lid with him. So let's get him in here. Good pal of mine, Harry Brook. Get him in.
Hello, guys.
Hey, welcome.
Cherrington.
I'm in Antigua as well, by the way, Katherine, not Barbados.
Oh, Jesus.
You got it wrong. Good start, though.
Barbados is lovely, but Antigua is actually very nice as well.
It is very
I wouldn't
nice,
complain with either.
It was raining in Barbados earlier in the week. Has it been raining in Antigua, or is it nice?
No, it's been cracking the flags, as we say up north.
Cracking flags, lad.
Last few days, it's been red hot. Too hot, actually. Might be too hot.
Your nose is a bit burnt, mate, by the looks of things.
Everything's burnt. Honestly. It's horrendous.
You're not slapping on the sun cream, big lad.
I'm looking a bit burnt on here. I think it's the red background.
What have you been up to, Rookie? Have you had a day off today? What have you been up to, mate?
Yeah, we flew into Antigua from Barbados yesterday, so just chilled, really. I've got my girlfriend Lucy over here, so I'm not allowed to play golf at the minute, which is crap, isn't it? But we've been sat on the beach.
Holding hands.
A bit of jet skiing this morning, bit of snorkeling, just chilling out. Ready for training tomorrow.
Man, you were single when I left Yorkshire. You were a single man and young man.
Yeah.
Very mature and grown up now.
Yeah. You see the thumbprint?
Now he is, yeah.
Yeah, I can see it's plain there. Around that redness you've got.
No, it's been good so far.
Listen, mate, you obviously had a bit of a tough start yesterday against the Aussies. The Aussies obviously looking quite good, but How do you think the tournament's gone so far as a spectacle, away from obviously just the England result? How do you think it's been? Obviously, it's a bit weird one because it's in two different countries, different pitches, different results, weather. Like, it looks a bit odd, isn't it?
Yeah, if I'm being honest, I haven't watched much of it. They've been on at strange times, like in the middle of the day, so I'd rather be sat on the beach, living life up whilst they're playing. But no, yeah, obviously we've had a difficult start against Scotland, losing the game to weather, not being able to try and chase them runs down was obviously not the ideal start, and then obviously losing to Australia the other day was tough. But in World Cups, there's never an easy run. So yeah, we've got to bounce back as well as we can on Thursday.
Yeah, 100%, mate. I think backing you guys to do it. Obviously, do you feel a bit of extra weight on your shoulders because it's a tournament for England? Is it a bit different to playing back in as a youngster or for Yorkshire? How much different is it in a World Cup scenario?
Yeah, this is my third World Cup now, so it's not like I still feel young and people calling me the youngster, but I feel like I've been around for ages now as well. So, no, obviously I just try and do my job as best as I can. I just want to be a match winner in as many games as I can be, and try and get us out of difficult situations and chase down scores in these shorter format games as well. So no, obviously there's always a lot of pressure on your shoulders when you're playing for England, no matter how many games you've played. So, but that's what we play for. We enjoy playing in front of big crowds and on the big stage. So yeah, we just got to crack on and try and do our best our job as best as we can.
100%, mate. And there's no easy games, is there? All these so-called smaller nations, they can turn out results, can't they? Like Oman and Namibia, you'd think, oh, we should wipe the floor with them, but I guess you guys obviously preparing very strongly for those guys. They could be potential banana skins, couldn't they? But you must be pretty confident going into those games anyway. Like,
Yeah,
you in the form you've been in for quite a while.
Absolutely, but we said from the start of the competition we're going to try and prepare for the next game every time, and and we have done so far. Obviously, it hasn't gone our way so far, but yeah, we can't take any game lightly now. Obviously, we're in a sticky situation with net run rate and whatnot now, so yeah, we've got to knuckle down, train hard for the next couple of days, and try and smash the next two games.
Harry Brook,
Smash! I love that.
40 ball 100 in the next game, penciling you in.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Teach me. That's the dream. You did your prep, didn't you, back in Yorkshire? Do you love going back and playing for your counties? I used to love that. I absolutely loved playing for England, obviously, in the big crowds, the spectacle, entertaining people. Like that always got me another gear. But I did also really love going back to playing county as well. Do you love that as much as you would some people say?
No, yeah, it was awesome to be back playing with my mates, playing at Headingley. It was obviously freezing, but no, it was nice to be back there playing with. I'd grown up with all them lads playing there as well, so it was nice to be playing there with some of my best mates. And again, though, we didn't have the greatest of starts, but they're bouncing back in the T20s now, which is good.
Yeah, they're flying, aren't they? With big Adam Live at the top of order, and a little lad called Joe Root's been playing as well, hasn't he? Obviously, you were only having that stint really because you pulled out of the IPL and the India Test Series. Obviously, sadly, you experienced a huge loss with your legendary your grandma Pauline, which obviously would have had a profound impact. How tough was the start of this year for you with that news? Because obviously, I knew Pauline pretty well. I used to see her a lot at awards. I saw her twice this winter, actually, picking your awards up, dancing her way into awards ceremony. She's an absolute, anyone who knew her, she was just a huge presence, wasn't she? Big personality.
Yeah, she liked to drink as well, so she went down quite well at the awards nights. She'd always nick one of the bottles of wine as well, or one of them glasses, it says Lords on it, or she had about 5 of them at home. So, no, obviously, yeah, it was a tough start to the year. In the first week of January, my dad rung me up when we were in Abu Dhabi on our training camp before India. Yeah, and she'd kept it to herself since November. She didn't tell anybody that she wasn't going to last long. Told everybody at the start of January, and yeah, and it just obviously it all went downhill from there. I was still training when I got back. I was still training and trying to prepare for potentially going back out for the last 2-3 test matches, but it all went spiraling downhill so very quickly as well. So I definitely made the right call going home and spending as much time as I could with her whilst we had that. And yeah, it wasn't a nice period, but you've got to crack on now and try and do everything for her in the future.
Oh, 100%, mate. I'm sure she'll be in your thoughts whenever you take the field. We did the pair of us experience similar emotions this winter going through that. Obviously, my father lost a quick battle in the new year, and I think your gran passed away around that sort of time. I remember getting a nice message from you and talking to you about it, and obviously was really keen to touch base with you, but I need to give you your space as well. But what was it like getting back into training? Was it being back in quite soon with training helpful for you, or did you just need a bit of space? Like, where was your headspace with it?
I'm not very good at just sitting around, so I was going in the mornings straight away. I think like the second day I got back, I just went straight in. I was gymming early. I was leaving Headingley by 9:30, 10 o'clock. I was going in early doors and trying to get as much done as I possibly could to go back and try and help her with medication and everything, because she was just at home for that period. Thankfully we had one of my dad's cousins come over from America who was very close to her as well, and she came and stayed with her until the end. So it was a bit easier for me to go training and try and get a bit fitter. So I lost a fair bit of weight in them few months and trained quite hard and tried to eat well to become as physically good as I could be.
That's great, mate. Oh, you're definitely going to make her proud for the rest of your career, mate, and hope to see you raising the bat to the skies in this tournament to do a number on someone. That would be amazing.
Hopefully.
Yeah, so you're Pauline. Do you mind if I call her Pauline?
Oh, yeah,
Legendary Pauline.
I actually used to call her Wawa.
Wawa?
Name, yeah. I couldn't.
Go on, explain.
When I was younger, I couldn't say grandma, or I couldn't say ma at the end, so I used to go Wawa. So I always called. I still call her to this day, and everybody started calling her Wawa. So yeah, her name. You can call her Wawa if you want.
There's actually quite a few. I feel like everybody's got a little name for their nan, or it's never grandma or granddad, is it? That's just boring.
No, I was always a bit embarrassed to say it in front of lads until a few years ago, and then I was like, oh, sod it. It's a name, innit? So
you're gonna have to get it tattooed somewhere on you.
No, I'd rather not. I don't think.
No.
I'm all right.
Not a tattoo, man.
No, it's not.
No. So she's obviously a massive influence on you, but also on your cricket. What was the reaction when you got thrown out of that England under-19 squad? If you'd like to recount that memory, is that was obviously when you were captain as well. That was probably a bit of a.
I wasn't expecting that question.
Just throw that in there.
No,
I mean,
right.
It's like a bit of a reality check for you, a bit of a check on the old growing up phase bit that everybody goes through. I
think it all went a little bit too big for what actually happened. I think it went all a bit out of control, to be honest. I was on the plane, I was 18, 19 years old, and it was a Sky Sports headline. It wasn't as big a deal as that, but yeah, they obviously supported me. I had quite a few family members out there at the time. They all came to watch the competition, so yeah, they just supported me as best as I could, and I was speaking to my agent quite a bit, and looking back at it now, it was like it's no biggie, really, is it? So just
why not give you a slap on the ass? Give you a good slap.
No, she just said behave yourself every time I went away from there. Really.
From now on.
Yeah, exactly.
You're a top pro these days. Huh?
Trying my best.
You probably just got back in 5 minutes late. I remember my first slap on the wrist was literally coming in 15 minutes past curfew, and I got an official warning.
Shocking. 15 minutes.
Full letter.
Might as well do a few hours.
You had to sign a letter or whatever it is. I just chucked that straight in the bin. There was no chance I'm keeping that.
Yeah.
Shocking.
So it doesn't sound that significant, to be honest, to be like anything significant in your life to help you like grow up, or I don't know, what were you like as a young cricketer? Were you a bit mad, or you pretty head on your shoulders?
When
Parkour.
I was training, I was always focused and tried to get as much out of the sessions as I could, and always professional around training. Away from training, I used to, like any young lad does with mates, I used to go out quite a bit and party and whatnot. And yeah, it all happened fairly quick for me because I went away to school, to Sedbergh School. I was boarding there for 4 years. As soon as I left there, I went to Australia. And then when I got back from Australia, I bought a flat whilst I was out in Australia. So I moved straight into that flat. Yeah, so it was all party for 12, 18 months. And then I met Lucy, who is my girlfriend now, and kind of settled down a little bit. And yeah, that's the
Already
past.
settled down.
Yeah.
How was Australia for you? How was that stint? We've had a few girls go off for like 6-month periods because we could do that when we weren't professional. We could just go somewhere for 6 months, and they absolutely loved that. How did you find it?
Yeah, it was quality. I went on the ICP. I don't know if you've heard of the ICP Academy.
Mm.
It was in Sydney. If I hadn't have gone on that with the amount I like training, it would have been a little bit tougher. Because you'd have only been training with the club sides on a Tuesday and Thursday. I probably wouldn't have felt like I was getting too much better. But yeah, I went on the ICP, which was training Monday, Wednesday, Friday, from what I can remember. And then you were training Tuesday, Thursday with your club side, playing Saturday, potentially Sunday some weeks. So yeah, there was a lot of cricket. And yeah, I felt like I came away from that trip a better player, which is what I went out there to do, really.
Yeah, well, you'd have been out there fully, like, a lot of the girls just came back way more independent because they had to just, like, do everything, like cooking, cleaning, getting about.
Yeah.
They were like you said, coming back and buying a house, like becoming a real adult.
Yeah, well, there was that side of it as well, like the lifestyle side and trying to cook and clean and whatever for yourself, which
What's
is,
your
I was
specialist
always
dish, Brookie?
anything. I can actually cook anything, which is surprising, isn't it? You just follow a recipe. It's
Anything.
easy, isn't it? Get a recipe up on your phone. Can cook
What
it.
did Wow rustle up for you?
And egg and chips.
The last few years, she liked cooking chicken parmigiana.
Oh yeah.
She liked her speciality was apple crumble. It was unbelievable, but she sometimes made it without apple, which was even better. Now,
Yes,
who actually wants apple in an apple crumble?
that is the
I'm not that bothered about the
best
apple.
thing I have ever heard. I was having this argument with Natalie the other day, and I said, crumbles aren't real unless they're at least 80% crumble.
Yeah, nobody's interested in the apple.
No, absolutely not. Loads of custard.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you like to stay out the limelight then? Like a lot of cricketers like to, really go for it on their profiles and sort of look at it that way, try and get major this, major that, and you like to just keep yourself to yourself. Are you a fan of that?
What, social media and stuff like that?
Yeah, just like keeping yourself to yourself, working hard, just being like.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You seem like the example professional cricketer to me. I don't know if I've missed something.
No, I'm not massive on social media, if I'm being honest. I think it's all a bit fake.
It's a true story.
Yeah, people make it look like they're living the best lives ever, but in actual fact they're not. So I don't go on it too much. Obviously, I have it, but I try and use it for cricket uses more than anything, really. Yeah, and I went through a period when I was in the IPL the first time. I was just getting abused all day, every day. So I tried to stay off it whilst I was out there. And yeah, and like in big competitions like this now, try and stay off it because if you have one bad day, there's always people on your back and saying how bad you are and stuff like that. So yeah, I use it, but I use it at the right times, I think, which is what I've learned over the last couple of years.
Run it, mate. Let your agent run it, make money off it. See you later.
Any major event I went to, it would just go. And now I don't even have Twitter, but Twitter was the one where you get a really good trolling. So that was the first to go.
Awful,
but you're absolutely right. It can numb your mind.
Yeah.
Some of the girls, I'll be like, "Oh, what did you do last night?" I went out for a meal, someone else would be like, "Oh, I got lost on TikTok for 3 hours." I'm like, "What? What? How?"
Thankfully, in India, TikTok doesn't work, so I deleted it whilst I was there, and I haven't downloaded it again. But it is addictive. I've started doing Sudokus now, which kills a bit of time when I'm on the beach.
Johnny Bairstow.
Yeah.
It's Johnny Bairstow number 2.
Get yourself on Wordle There's a Wordle every day.
I don't like being on my phone too much. I try and keep my screen time under 3 hours a day. But some of the lads here, 9 hours a day, like that is absolutely ridiculous.
That's
shocking.
Tell them to get a life.
Yeah,
that's too much.
Be training. Jesus, they need to bring their girlfriends or wives over. And
well, probably FaceTiming so much. That's why.
Smack it out of the hand.
Yeah.
Talking about you were captain at under-19s, Brookie. Obviously, I've known you for quite a while, but I was talking to someone this winter about, the future and what the team would look like a few years down the line. I genuinely think you're a sort of a left-wing approach to being a captain. I don't know what your thoughts on it. Obviously, you don't have to go into it if you don't want to, but you've obviously got a captain experience, not so much at Yorkshire. But do you have aspirations to be a captain of either Yorkshire or England at all? Or are you just happy flitting around as a lieutenant in the background, getting all the runs?
No, obviously, if someone came up to me and asked me to be England captain, I'm not turning it down. But I'm not falling at anybody's feet to be captain. So yeah, if it does ever arise, then I might do it. But at the minute, I'm enjoying playing my cricket and see how far we can go.
I just thought you've matured so well as a cricketer and as a person, and you speak so well now in the media. I just seem to remember this young lad that I played with, who was a bit rogue and a bit out there, but funny, very funny man. But you have sort of changed, grown up quite a lot, which is great. Obviously, you've been in the England team for so long; it's going to happen. But I think your cricket brain, your experience, and your personality could be suited to the next potential to follow. So that's just my opinion. I'm not doing it for anything other than that, really. But
we'll see.
I'll have you in, mate. You get my vote. Get my vote.
Thank you.
Come on, mate. Let's get talking behind the scenes. We've got contact. When talking about like how hard you train, like you're saying there, you're quite focused. You can go in, you concentrate on your cricket. Not many distractions. Like I'd put that down. That's me too. When I used to go to train, I'd train really hard and train on and just be like, what's the word? Obsessed with certain things and being perfect at them. I think it's a really good but bad trait sometimes for athletes where you just want perfection, and anything less than that. It's like going in for your first hit, not that I'm a batter, after a while and not being able to hit it through the middle of the bat straight away and being like, oh, I'm shit. And you've only had your first net for 20 minutes after
it's
about
like me every
3
time
or
4. You had a few bat drops.
Once, mate. One. Just one.
So with like bowling, I would just get obsessed about it, and then that's what created my consistency. And I'd say with you, you've become really consistent. What would you put your consistency down to?
Good question. Like I said, the consistent training and going in with a purpose. I think it can be tough at times when you're doing so much training, but there's always something you can get better at, or you can improve your strengths, make them super strengths. So I always go in and try and work on something, whether that's like every single session, I'm always working on my head, trying to keep my head still, trying to keep my head coming forward. And then like the mental side of it as well. I think I've always looked at the negatives. So if I have a bad innings, I'll always look at the negatives instead of the positives. I try and look a little bit more at the positives now. Try and take away positives from that innings instead of looking at what I could have got better at in that innings. Obviously, you got to look at that a little bit, but just little positive things which can help in the long run as well. So
that's really good, that, mate. Because if I think about it, when you finish, obviously, and you look back, sometimes you can't help it, and then you just go, "Why the fuck did I waste my time thinking like that or feeling like that for so long?"
Yeah.
And it's hard to. when you're going through it, it's either hard to move on, let go, or not berate yourself for stuff. When actually you should just literally, because a lot of coaches would say to me, "Have you watched the game back?" And I'll go, "Of course I haven't watched the game back." And they'll be like, just watch it back. It's not as bad as you think. Like, you actually did well, and you should go and look and take the positives out of it. So I'm glad you've said that at 25, because people can go through their whole careers and just be like, who were we talking to the other day? Jamie Porter, and he's like the same. He dwells less on getting smacked about a bit and says he's enjoying his cricket more just because of that. Like, because it's a small world you're in when you're touring, and cricket is life, as they say on Ted Lasso. But it's all encompassing, so it can drown you if you haven't got your head in the right space.
Absolutely.
It's mad.
100%.
I think in T20 cricket as well, it's so much harder because it's all so quick. And as a middle order batter, I could go 2 weeks and only face 10, 12 balls. If the top order's firing, I could, and then a couple of days later, you're like, oh my God, I haven't batted for 2-3 weeks here. I feel out of nick.
And then they're 4 down and you're in the World Cup final.
Yeah,
4 down for 10.
Exactly.
Well, you kind of did, mate, in a way. Like the IPL for you had an amazing knock of a ton, but you didn't get a bean around that, did you?
No, that's because I said that stupid comment in the media, wasn't it? But it bit me in the arse. I won't be saying that.
You learned from that, though, haven't you?
Yeah, I've learned from that. Yeah, I got 100, told them all to shut up, and then I couldn't hit it off the square after. And then that's when I went off social media.
Stay humble, mate. Stay humble. Mate, I remember when you came into the... I wanted to ask you a question, actually. I don't think I've asked you before. When you came into the Yorkshire environment, obviously everyone knew about you. Well, we heard from Juicy and Damsey in the academy saying this guy's going to be a superstar. We were obviously quite a good senior bunch at the time, weren't we? We were, winning quite a lot. You were the next cab off the rank in terms of, future superstars. But do you remember playing I don't know if was it a schoolboy game or a under 15s? You were really young. It was at Lord's, and David English was there, and he invited the whole Yorkshire team to come watch it because I think we were playing a game at Lord's the next day. Do you remember the game?
Yeah, I remember playing at Lord's. I don't remember all the Yorkshire boys being there.
No, I don't think you were aware. We were sat in one of the boxes with Dave English watching you.
Really?
Dizzy made us go and watch, saying, "Look, this guy's going to be playing with you in a couple of years." And there's this little chunky little bloke out in the middle. I was trying to work out which one it was.
Little fat lad.
Oh, leave it out. He's been working on that.
Game. I can remember getting out, but I can't remember much else.
No, I don't remember much. I just remember being there watching you. I was like, this kid better be good because we're wasting my afternoon otherwise.
Wasting your afternoon in London.
What was it like for you as a young player coming into that? Because obviously Yorkshire can be a interesting environment to come to anyway, especially if you're from Yorkshire. Like it's a big deal, isn't it? What was it like for you coming into that environment, in that team, in that era? So I think Dizzy would still have been coach, maybe as well, was he?
I played one game under Dizzy, and then Gailey took over. But yeah, it was quite daunting. Obviously, there was a lot of experience in that changing room. There was some very big names, and there wasn't many young lads either. So I was kind of left on my own. I got very close to Ben Code, who was obviously kind of started in the first team at the same time as me, and spent a lot of time with him.
Did any of the older players sort of take you under their wing or anything?
Yeah, to be fair, Brooksy did a little bit. I'm just glad I never dropped a catch off him or Siddy, otherwise I'd have probably been smacked.
Mate, I was fine. I was fine with drop catch. Siddy was not so fine.
He was shocking.
Because I knew Lively used to nearly cry when he dropped because he knew Siddy would have a go at him. But I was pretty careful because I wasn't the best in the field. So I was like, if I drop one after f***ing people, like a right tool.
Yeah.
I would never someone. You were too good in the slits, mate. You never dropped them off me.
But no, yeah, it was fairly daunting with all them big names, having watched everybody playing in the game, like in T20s and whatever. So yeah, it was at 17, 18 years old. I always kind of backed myself. I had confidence. I felt like I was good enough to be there. Didn't have the best of starts, but yeah, I always felt like I was meant to be there.
Like when you came in remember you being around that first year or two, and it's like, this guy's been here forever. Because you're obviously such a fun personality to have, and you were very laid back off field. I don't know whether you still are. I'm guessing you probably are, but more mature with it. But I just remember on field, like showing flashes of brilliance, and also you had to open the batting, didn't you, in Division 1 against a Duke, and you obviously it was bloody tough on you. You didn't have probably the easiest start in your career doing that, but some of the shots and the knocks you played, you could tell that once this guy works it out, and he's obviously got so much time to do that, because you had a really good work ethic. You always hitting balls. I think only after Rooty, you probably hit the most amount of balls in training whenever we saw someone at Yorkshire. So it was only a matter of time. So it was just great to see you when it did click, like some of the innings you've played. Do you remember that innings down at Chelmsford when we got bowled out for 50, and then second innings you came out and absolutely beasted, just ran down and hitting Harmer over extra. I was like, this kid's 19 hitting the best bowl in the country against the spin when it's ragging. Some player for that.
Yeah,
that glimpses then, you just think that was a unbelievable game of cricket, by the way, as well.
Yeah, it was. It still might be one of my favourite games.
You've just got to go for it again when it's like conditions are like that, isn't it? You can't just sit there and be the next one. None off 25. See ya.
Actually, I opened the bat in that game, and Gailey were like, no chance you're opening again. So Johnny went up, slogged a few, got 50 or whatever, and I went to 3, and then I went and slogged it after him. So it worked out well.
Good.
That's where you learn from, mate. Let's get all your learnings in.
Yeah.
Have you always been felt like you wanted to be really aggressive, a batsman, or did you come more through it a bit more like Rooty, like a bit of a touch field player, and then gradually get a bit more busy later?
I think that's when I get in trouble, when I try and touch it and feel it around the field. That's when I do get in trouble. I've always been quite an aggressive batter, trying to dominate bowlers, whether that's running at them or sitting back, and there's so many different ways to do it. So I feel like I do have that touch game as well, that I can scoop and I can guide and whatever in T20 cricket, but especially in red ball, I feel like if I start trying to run it down or knock it into gaps, that's when I get into a little bit of trouble and try and hit the ball hard and
whack it.
Yeah, beat the fielders on the boundary and whatnot. So
we'll know when you're struggling.
Can we talk about your bowling quickly, Brookie?
Yeah.
I want to talk about your bowling.
Yeah, let's
You've
talk
got
about
a Test
bowling.
wicket, and it's the greatest batsman in the world, nearly, isn't it?
He is number 1 at the minute, but just worked him out, didn't I? It took him over.
Can we talk about the bowling action? Actually, were you putting that on, or is that for real?
I don't know how you can put on an action in the middle of a Test match.
I had to watch a highlight of that wicket just to remind myself, did you actually get Kane Williams out in a Test match? And it was
I bounced him, got him on the back foot, and then I nicked him off next ball.
Yeah, nice.
I walked past him a couple of weeks. He was on 140. I walked past him a couple of weeks later, and I just showed him my pocket as well. I was loving it. I had the opportunity to get the second or third best batter out this last summer as well, when I came on first change in the first Ashes Test.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that. It was genius from Stokesy. If you get Steve Smith out, this would be apps. I'll never at the end of it. What? That's genius. Your action's naughty, though. It's going to get wickets, isn't it? I remember your first championship wicket, actually. Again, was it at Somerset?
Yeah.
At Scarborough, wasn't it?
At Scarborough, yeah. And it got on. I don't know if you remember, but County Championship put 5 top toe crushers of the year on the social media at the end of the summer. And there was Sam Curran bowling a big in-swinging Yorker, Kyle Abbott or something like that, a couple of other quick bowlers, and then there was me just trundling down the hill, bowling a Yorker, accidental Yorker, in-swinging Yorker to Eddie Byram.
Swinging with Eddie Byram, poor Eddie Byram.
The accidental ones are always the best ones.
100%.
And you've got to claim it as well.
Yeah, exactly. I've only just told him now it's an accidental. So.
It's been revealed.
Yeah, take that one off the podcast.
So how many wickets do you actually have? Do you know?
I think I've got 9 or 10 in first class cricket. But Pato is my favourite ever captain. He used to bowl me with a newish ball. So yeah, it was I actually quite enjoy bowling. Obviously I'm rubbish at it, but
You're not rubbish, mate.
Takes a sting out of fielding for a little bit, doesn't it?
It's golden arm. You've got roughly 809 runs.
809 in his first 9, wasn't it?
Are you worried when you get that many runs in your first sort of 9 games and you're like, oh shit, they're going to expect me to keep churning them out here at the same rate?
No, I wasn't worried.
Easy game. Easy game,
like we spoke about before, just keep on working hard on my game and back it. There's obviously going to be a lot of ups and downs along the way. It's not all going to be plain sailing, but thankfully for the next few innings, I scored a few more runs and just batted well.
I remember his weakness. His weakness is half volleys on leg stump, clipped to mid-wicket.
Yeah, it is. And someone's got to take an absolute screamer.
Were you more like a T20 lover and then Test cricket came, you got involved with the England Test team and then you were like, nah, Test cricket's the one, or do you have a favourite?
I think I naturally found red ball a lot harder when I started at Yorkshire. Obviously, opening the batting at the start was tough. I did open the batting in the second team. Yeah, Headingley, it's flat at Headingley now. It's always good to bat on, but a few years ago, it wasn't the easiest. It's still not the easiest to open in on any pitch in the country, but it was a tough period at that stage, and I probably didn't enjoy it as much as I should have done, which is why I probably kept on failing, and then I got dropped, and then thankfully I came back in and batted at number 5 and kind of just went on from there. But yeah, T20 was it came a bit more natural to me. I took the game on from ball 1, and it was a lot more free flowing for me than red ball was at the start.
Nice. Yeah, it's hard to choose, isn't it, really?
But yeah, Test cricket's the best.
T20 is just like where the cash is at, and
he's just pretty good at all of it, though. Doesn't really matter,
Test cricket is definitely the best. Test cricket's the pinnacle by a mile, but T20 is fun, it's exciting, and it's entertaining. But Test cricket's definitely the pinnacle for me, and I enjoy playing Test cricket the most. But when you're playing a T20 in front of a full crowd, it's good.
Yeah, fact. I'm looking forward to watching the Test cricket. I'm coming to the Test match at Lords this year, actually. Hosting a few.
I'm going to try and come as well. It's Jimmy's last as well. The atmosphere will be incredible, won't it?
Yeah. The Barmy Army are allowed in, actually, I think, for the first time.
And do you know what? They'll be loud AF.
Apparently there's no trumpet, though. I think someone said to me the other day.
Nah, they'll sneak a trumpet in.
Yeah, you got to.
Where could they hide that?
Let him into the change room. You can do it from the balcony.
Yeah, fact.
Get Brookie on the trumpet.
Right, fellas. We've got the Cricket Archive guest start alert.
Yes, here's the siren. Brookie. Harry Cherrington Brook became the fastest batter to reach 1,000 runs measured by balls faced at Headingley last year in the Ashes Test. Did you know that?
I think I did, yeah.
Hey!
Of course I bloody did.
Probably got a bottle of champagne for you already.
Badger, aren't you? Absolute badge. Moving on, because you already knew that. A little MVP update, the PCA MVP Awards, powered by our Gentex. David Beddingham is now leading the overall domestic race for the 10 grand, which is a nice little bonus in the pocket. He's having an absolute belting summer. Luke Wells is leading the Blast MVP now, which he comes in with his useful leggies and the fact he biffs it. And in the international variety, Joss Butler remains just ahead of Jofra Archer. When we talk about MVPs, is there any bigger than Jofra, Brookie? Superstar, like proper superstar, isn't he?
Yeah, he's pretty good. He's pretty good, isn't he?
What's he like facing the nets?
I'll tell you what, though, Mark Wood gets my juices flowing more, not in the fancying way. Sorry, Woody. I love Woody, but he just like when I watched him steam in at the Oval the other week, it was fucking brilliant. He was pacing up and down like a lunatic off from the fucking boundary, and I was like, he's gonna bowl gas today. and I had to commentate on it, and I was just like getting all goosebumpy because he's just one of them fellas, and he looks like a really good crack as well. But yeah, like Joff is great, but I think I just love Woody. I think when bowling wise to watch.
Yeah, I like watching Woody.
Both.
Woody in the Ashes at Headingley last year. That was absolutely frighteningly quick. It was ridiculous. I was at short leg, and it was just, it was ridiculous.
Short leg, absolutely not.
Oh, nobody could pull it, so I wasn't in any danger. But it was
you
very
just sat
quick.
there on a cigar, weren't you? Good luck, Usman.
Yeah, all best.
Until you get a beamer when he's stacked it again. Oh well. The women's MVP. Unfortunately, there is an Australian at the top, Charlie Knott. She is actually good, as all Aussies unfortunately are. She's come over actually to play a domestic season, which not many Aussies do. They don't like to come over because they like the dollar and they pay them enough out there, so they don't get any. Plus, we have miserable weather. It's not really equals anything worth coming for, but they've produced a few good cricketers through the Women's Big Bash the last few years. And Charlie Knott, right? She comes across as somebody who you look at her, you just think she just doesn't look like somebody who could play sport at all. And then she's playing, and I'm like, she's fucking good. Like she's
doing all right.
She's decent. Yeah, I would say in the next. If they've got that many players, it's hard to know. If she was an English woman, if you like, she'd be probably in our performance squad already, like ready to go. So that's the quality they have. They just keep churning them out. It's ridiculous. And then we've got another foreigner. We've got Katherine Bright, the Scottish lass. She's foreigner. Actually, I love Katherine Bright. She lives fairly local to me, and she's just an incredible human being. And she's a good all-round cricketer. She's not too bad, not too shabby with either bat or ball. She's like a bit touch player, and she bowls these horrific slow in swingers that everybody just dreads facing. So she's leading the exactly that. She's leading the she's leading the T20 comp, and finals day is next Saturday. So still all to play for, but yeah, they're the ones that are smashing it. Nice.
Awesome. Now, back to Brookie. We've now got under the lids big question. As all our listeners will know, the show is all about getting the truth behind life as a professional cricketer. And every week we ask our esteemed guests for one little nugget of information that most people do not know about them. Ideally not cricket related. So Cherrington, is there anything quirky that not many people will know about you?
I think a lot of people know that my middle name is Cherrington now, but
it's a great name.
I've been thinking a little bit, and I usually go down the boring route about golf or something like that. But I'm going to say today, I once had a pet pig. How about that?
Wow, that's good.
For a fact.
That is, I'm a massive. What was the pig's name?
I bet you can't
Cherrington.
Guess. Try a guess.
Porky.
No. Peppa Pig.
Scratchings.
Peppa.
Peppa Pig.
Very good.
Her name was Peppa. Good. My dad just rocked up one day with it in the back of his car. I think he thought it was going to be like one of them miniature pigs. A few months later, it was massive. So yeah, we once had a.
Did you put it in your bed?
No, it was too big for that. He used to go cuddle it in its little pen thing. But it was huge.
I did not know this.
We can let you off with that because I know absolutely no one with a pet pig, so you win.
Yeah,
fair news.
I think when I get asked that question, I need to say that a bit more. I think.
Oh mate, that is gold. That's the only clip we're going to put out there. I think is that you used to have a pet pig. What's also with the background with Cherrington? Where's that come from?
That's just my mum's last name, so it's not double-barreled. They just put that in the middle. Yeah.
Nice. She had to get that in there.
Didn't have the choice, but yeah.
I'd have it. It's different, isn't it?
Yeah, I like that. You just sharing the surname. She didn't want it to disappear. That's good. I love that.
Exactly.
Well done. She's a smart lady. Right, last round, guys. So we don't want to keep Harry any longer than we have to because He's had a jolly day and needs to lie down, and his girlfriend's probably fuming. She's what's her name?
Lucy.
Lucy's fuming that he's been on here 53 minutes already. So
no, she's
here we
fine.
go. So we've got the scoreboard on the screen now, and you get 60 seconds to answer as many questions as you can. Me and Brooksy have got quite good at, reeling these off as quick as we can. So we won't mug you off. What's the leaderboard looking like?
Ollie Hannon-Dolby is still leading with 8.
What are the
which is
questions?
a good effort. They're not all cricket related, but some of them.
Oh, God.
Well, mate, most of them are.
If there's anything to do with football, that'll be shocking.
It's pretty much cricket, mate, to be honest with you. But the bottom is Katie Levick, Tom Kohler-Cadmore, Ben Duckett. They all got 4. So there's you got to get between 4 and 8, really.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, go.
Where did you make your international T20 debut?
Barbados.
Nice. Who was England's leading run scorer in the 2022 T20 World Cup?
Josh Butler.
Yes.
Which current Welsh rugby union player attended Segba School at the same time as you?
James Botham.
Yes.
New York, Texas, and which other US state are hosting the World Cup matches?
Florida.
Correct.
Yes. Which other player scored a century alongside you in your first Yorkshire game of this season?
Adam Hyde.
Yes. How many PCA award trophies have you won?
3.
Correct.
Yes. You hit 31 not out off how many balls against West
7.
Indies in a T20? Yes.
Yes. In 22, you became the youngest player to do what in the PSL?
Score 100.
Yes.
Yeah. And what is your T20 career strike rate?
To the decimal. 143.
Oh.
Oh, 149.
I thought you meant
Very
international.
close.
I thought you meant international, not domestic.
Well, I'm not being funny, but you just smashed that, and I feel like a lot of them were. You should have known.
Mate, that's awesome. I think you got 8, so you go straight to the top level. So you're in line for a massive prize at the end of the summer, which we will be getting. I'm buzzing for Brookie there. Genuinely, like you were flying there.
Thank you.
Also, I know you said you didn't like to mention the golf thing, but it sounds like you're pretty hot at golf. So if you're good at golf, this could be a golf prize at the end.
Oh, you could have told me that before. I'd have got my strike rate right.
Brookie, mate, we won't keep you any longer. That's awesome that you managed to give up some time, especially in the middle of a massive World Cup, mate. Huge good luck for you, England. Hope the boys can turn it around the next couple of games and get out of the group. I'm glad you're back and doing well, mate. We're long overdue a catch up, which hopefully we can do face to face at some time. But have a superb summer, bud. Enjoy the rest of the World Cup and get some big runs quickly, youth.
Yes.
Thank you very much, guys.
What a lad. Great, isn't he? I didn't know what to expect. I always get a bit shocked every week, don't I, as if I've never met anyone in my life.
Yeah, is that another cricketer you don't know or you never met? Sorry.
Yeah, I know. Well, I am a good, what am I now? 13 years older than him, so it's not like we should have crossed paths, but I feel like girls and boys will cross paths more now these days because, shared facilities, etc. But yeah, I never got the chance to meet him or talk to him, so that was really nice getting to know him. And I'm sure, like he's not exactly the most out there person, so a lot of people definitely have just got to know him as well. And I think he's fantastic. He's got his head screwed on, hasn't he?
I've seen him out there when he was younger. He's a reformed character. He's a good lad. He's entertaining. Got a lot of time for him. He's bloody talented kid though. Jesus, he could play.
He sounds like he worked hard though for that.
Yeah, from what I've heard, I know he used to hit a lot of balls when I played with him, but still now in this current England setup, particularly the Test team, he is one of the hardest working behind the scene. And Rooty hits a lot of balls, and if Brookie's hitting a similar amount to that, then he's also a bit of a gym bunny as well, which he never used to be when he was younger. So
and an early one, Jesus, leaving the gym
special.
for 9:30.
Just a good pro, just a top pro. Yeah. And he had a pig. How good's that?
Just have my dog. I can't. How do you even look after a pig? Who knows? What do they get? All the scraps, don't they?
Fatten them up for some bacon. That's what you do.
Well, yeah, all the scraps from your plate. A few apples, carrots. Imagine rolling around in your bed. Feral.
I feel like a fat pig at times this summer. Right, listener feedback. What you got for us, Brunty?
Well, we've actually got a couple here, which is always great to see. We've got Nicholas. Love the show and the variety of guests. We're not doing very well at the World Cup, are we? I'd like to ask Jack and Catherine. And I keep it nice. I'd like to ask Jack and Catherine what one thing they do to get England going. Jack, I'll header that to you.
Well, we're not doing very well. It's harsh, isn't it? Right,
it's only the start. This always happens.
Yeah, we'll wing it round. We always do, don't we? To get England going, I think they just got to go out and play the way they have done. And when England play the way they have done for a long period of time now, I think they do it better than anyone else still. I think they just got to show that, believe that, show that. And if they start firing England, everyone else will start looking at England like, Jesus, these guys are on. So hope they can turn it around as soon as possible and drill the next two teams, Oman and Namibia. If drill those two teams, we'll be all right.
Yeah. I mean, I can safely say being a bowler in a T20 is not fun. And so, well, a lot of the times when you're playing on roads, etc., or different conditions. But I think sometimes you just need that one little nudge to get you going, sort you out. We had a shocker against India in the opener of the World Cup. And then after that, we won every game all the way up to the final and won that. So
now you've got a winner.
Yeah. Exactly. Sometimes you just need either a little kick up the arse or just, I feel like a mixture of the bowling being a bit off, which they'll know, and then watching these other nations, Scotland, Namibia, Canada, USA, do what they've done will also be another little impetus as to fire them up and get them going, because you can't literally take your eye off anyone, can you, in this tournament? It's been one of them. We have got Sally T. I've noticed Jack doesn't get many mentions in the feedback. Oh, and and no one has brought up his headbands. Does he still wear one? How did he choose them? And did he have a cupboard/drawer full?
Is that my mum emailing in?
Possibly.
Yes, I do still wear them when I'm bowling, when I'm playing games. I wore one for the MCC last week. I wear them for Banbury on Saturdays in club cricket. I try and stay true to club colours because I do have a large collection. I've got a big box full of them in my garage, and I've still got quite a lot in my bag and training bag that I just sift into. And I always try to wear a white one with a flash of team colours for the white ball cricket, and just like a pink one or a naughty coloured one that goes with kit, like a black one.
Is there any colours? Is there any colours you don't have, Jack?
No, I've probably got all colours covered in my. I've got over 100. When I counted them up a long time ago, 10 years ago nearly, I had over 100 then. I've probably got a few more now.
Right.
I've given away quite a lot over the years as well.
You'd have to start clubbing in them. That'd be good.
Nah, mate, I only wear them now to cover my forehead because of my receding hairline. I used to wear them years ago because I had long hair and it was retro and it was cool. But then a worldwide pandemic meant my fashion sense took over the world, and now I just do it to hide my forehead.
Anyone listening that can sew, make him a rainbow one. Says under the lid on the front. Send it in. Nice.
I'd wear it. I would genuinely wear it for a show or for some live stuff.
Fantastic. Well, if you want Jack to do anything else for you, then please do leave your feedback or write in using hashtag under the lid or email at hello@underthelid.co.uk.
Excellent. Well, thanks for getting under the lid with us, everyone who's listening. As always, subscribe, leave a review, tell your mates. It's been fun.
Well, we'll see you for another guest next week.